being your worship associate today. We want to welcome everyone here and also the people who are online with us today. Welcome all of you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. And if you're joining us for the first time, special welcome to you, and we hope you will join us for coffee hour in the fellowship hall after the service. And because we do have some people joining us online, we want everyone to turn around, wave to the people that are online to make them feel a part of our service. If you are online and have something to share during Lifelines, put that in the chat, please, in the next 15 minutes. We also want to acknowledge with gratitude and with reverence that our church resides on land that is inhabited by the Tutelo and Monacan nations. Now, normally what we say at this time is that our minister is the Reverend Walter LaFleur, and while he's away this week, but however, he is with us in the congregation. So he is here to hear our speaker, and I think that was a good decision on his part. And Xavier Duckett is our guest speaker today. He's the director and the founder of Humble Hustle, and he's going to be telling us about the work that they do. And I also learned that Xavier is a Roanoke native who got smart and decided to come home. Please join me also in reciting our words of welcome, and they are projected on the screen. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, your presence here is a gift. Whether you're filled with sadness or overflowing with joy, needing to be alone, or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all are welcome here. And then we also want to, if you would like to join us in talking and speaking our covenant, we commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world.
Morning, everybody. Our opening hymn today is May Nothing Evil Cross This Door. So let's all stand and sing together. It's number 1. It's easy to find. It won't take any time at all. May nothing evil cross this door, and may your fortune aboundless windows may the roar, and rain on. By faith made strong, the rafters fill, withstand the battering of the storm. This heart through all the world grew chill, will keep you warm. He shall walk softly through these rooms, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner into wash shine. With laughter drown the rock and shout, and though these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong to keep it out and hold on.
Our first reading today, our opening words, are from William Ellery Channing. The great end in religious instruction is not to stamp our minds upon the young, but to stir up their own. Not to make them see with our eyes, but to look inquiringly and steadily with their own. Not to give them a definite amount of knowledge, but to inspire a fervent love of truth. Not to form an outward regularity, but to touch it toward inward springs. Not to bind them by ineradicable prejudices to our particular sect or peculiar notions, but to prepare them for impartial, conscientious judging of whatever subjects may be offered to their decision. Not to burden the memory, but to quicken and strengthen the power of thought. Not to impose religion upon them in the form of arbitrary rules, but to awaken the conscience, the moral discernment. In a word, the great end is to awaken the soul to excite and cherish spiritual life. Kay is going to light the chalice.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of God.
Hello. I would like to invite up those who are young and young at heart to come up here. I have a challenge for you this morning. And while you're on your way up, I'll introduce myself. I'm Jessie McEwen. I am the Director of Lifespan Faith Development here, and I use they, them pronouns. So as folks are making their way up, I need somebody to tell me what is in this jar. Colorful coins. Pirate gold. That's kind of cool. So I have some coins here that we'll get to in a minute. Don't get too excited about the coins because first I have a question. What is a mentor? A teacher. Someone who helps you. Kind of like a tutor. Someone who's there for you emotionally. What else? Guides you on your way in your life. Now, we can all think of somebody who does these things. But what you got? Like moms and dads are mentors. Yeah. But a mentor makes that choice to be that person. I have mentored people in theater, and I made the choice to bring those young folks into my life. And I made the choice to take some of my time and some of my knowledge and some of my skills, and you know what, sometimes my car, and help them. I took them out to dinner sometimes. We went to the movies one time and actually like we talked about what was happening in the movie. We didn't just watch a movie. We spent a long time talking about it too. Mentors do all these things on purpose. It's kind of cool to have a mentor. And we can all learn from having a mentor. And you know, that all includes your mentors. So now let's get back to these coins. I want each of you to take a coin to someone in this congregation who you think might be a good mentor. They don't have, it's not a promise. You're not saying you are my mentor. We're not doing that, y'all. You're okay. But take it to someone who you think might be a good mentor. We've got folks that are on our board who would be great mentors. We've got some of your parents who might be a great mentor to somebody else. Everybody grab a coin, just one, and take it to, oh, thank you. Take it to somebody. That's okay. It'll be fine. I see all kinds of faces. So I challenged our young folks, and while they're finishing up delivering those coins, I'm going to challenge the recipients of the coins to find a place in your life where you can provide that intentional relationship and enter into that intentional relationship as a mentor. We're going to head upstairs and we're going to talk a little bit more about mentoring. And that's okay. We're going to talk a little bit more about mentoring, and we're going to talk about how Humble Hustle does some mentoring too. So let's head out that door. Everybody follow Randall.
Our first reading today is from President Barack Obama. He gave a back to school speech at Mastermind High School in Philadelphia back in 2010. And I promise it is not a politician's full speech, it's just excerpts. But I know some of you may also be nervous about starting a new school year. Maybe you're making the jump from elementary to middle school, from middle school to high school, and worried about what that would be like. And beyond all these concerns, I know a lot of you are also feeling the strain of these difficult times. You know what's going on in the news and in your own family's lives. You hear about the recession we've been through, you see it in your parents' faces and sense it in their voice. A lot of you are having to act a lot older than you are to be strong for your family, to look after younger siblings while your mom works at second shift, or to take a part-time job when your dad's out of work. It's a lot to handle. It's more than you should have to handle. And it may make you wonder at times what your own future will look like, whether you'll be able to succeed in school, whether you should set your sights a little lower and scale back your dreams. But here is what I came to Mastermind to tell you. Nobody gets to write your destiny but you. Your future is in your hands. Your life is what you make of it. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is beyond your reach. So long as you're willing to dream big, so long as you're willing to work hard, so long as you're willing to stay focused on your education. That part is absolutely essential because an education has never been more important. Nothing will have as great an impact on your success in life as your education. So you have an obligation to yourselves, and America has an obligation to you. And making sure you get the kind of education that you need, it's going to take all of us working hand in hand. But the truth is, an education is about more than getting into a good college or getting a good job when you graduate. It's about giving each and every one of us the chance to fulfill our promise, to be our best version of ourselves that we can be. And part of what that means is treating others the way we want to be treated, with kindness and respect. And I think we talked a little bit about that in Living the Question today. The second reading is Long Walk to Freedom, the autobiography of Nelson Mandela. Long Road to Freedom. I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way, and I have discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. I have taken a moment here to rest, to steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I have come. But I can only rest for a moment. For with freedom come responsibilities, and I dare not linger, for my long walk is not ended. And our sermon today, as I said, is from Xavier Duckett. He is the founder and president of Humble Hustle. And just because it's the fall season, he also played football at Old Dominion. We have to honor our seasons. He left Roanoke and then returned home. He just told me, and he's going to go over this, that Humble Hustle was not really what he was thinking about when he came back, but he got inspired. So Xavier Duckett.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm going to raise this up just a little bit. All right. So I went back and forth. One, I just want to say thank you for having me. This is a new environment. And my mom was like, "Where are you at? I thought you were in church." And I'm like, "I'm at another church." So I do appreciate you all having me and allowing me the opportunity to not only share my journey, but also just to share the journey that we've been on with the company that I created. In 2015, I came back home. As she said, I had to return back home. I played football at Old Dominion University. My career got cut short based off of bad decisions that I was making. And so when I returned home as a 25-year-old young man, Roanoke wasn't the place that I thought it was going to be for, a young adult, I would say. There wasn't a lot to do. There wasn't a lot to see, especially for a young Black man in the neighborhood that I was in, and the opportunities or the upbringing that I had. It just wasn't a lot of opportunities for me. And so what I started to do photography. And photography started to land me different opportunities to get in rooms with people where I started to see different gaps and different niches that I felt could be filled with my creativity and my vision. I've always had a really, really good vision, but I also sometimes needed some extra people to help me get from to each point. So with that being said, in around 2015, at the end of 2015, me and my friend, we started to do a coat drive, and it was called 300 Coats in 30 Days, and we made it a challenge for the city, and we raised like 600 coats. And from that point on, that's what kind of birthed the Humble Hustle. So, I was just an ordinary guy doing kind of ordinary things, but I always saw that there could be more done for the youth and for the communities that go under resourced in the city. But what we do now with the Humble Hustle, it is a fully established nonprofit organization. We have 4 different programs that we do year round. We have been in existence for about 9 years, well, for about 8 years now, coming up on 9. So super proud of the work that we've been able to do. Our first program that we started is called Humble Hikes. And so Humble Hikes takes inner city kids outdoors. Being that Roanoke is one of our biggest assets, being that the outdoors is our biggest asset here, we take full utilization of taking the inner city kids that don't normally have the access or the reach to be able to do some of the outdoor recreation things that some of our counterparts can do. That's what we do. So each month we partner with different organizations, different establishments, and provide some type of outdoor recreation with them. Right back here, the lady that's doing the AV, Mrs. Carpentry, Dr. Carpentry, has been instrumental in taking Humble Hustle to where it is now. She's been with us for a while, so I definitely just have to give her a round of applause. Her, along with dozens of other organizations in the city, Roanoke Outside the City, Roanoke Mountain Adventures. I can name to my, I guess I only have 10 fingers, but I can keep naming them. Have been instrumental in taking that program to where it is now. To date, I just said this in another speech the other day. To date, for 2023, we've taken 307 kids on outdoor recreational trips, and that's just for 2023. Total, I think we're at like 897 total kids that we've exposed to our programs since the beginning of Humble Hustle. So that's one of our first programs. It's called Humble Hikes. Our second program was birthed from during the Gabby Douglas era. I was working at a school, and it was a lot of girls that were doing flips and stuff like that in the gym. And I asked one of the girls, her name is Terriana. She has now graduated. She's been with us for 8 years. She just graduated from Patrick Henry High School. And so I asked her, I said, have you ever done gymnastics? And she said, no. And I said, well, if you could get a scholarship, like, do you think your mom would allow you to do gymnastics? And she said, I don't know. And so my friends and I, at that point, we didn't have a board or a committee or anything like that. Everything was extremely grassroots. Like, we just figured it out. And we got a partnership with Roanoke Academy Gymnastics, and they went half and we went half. And we ended up providing that young girl a scholarship for gymnastics. Well, that one turned into three, and that three turned into seven, and that seven turned into 10. And so that's how the program that I'm speaking about now, called Pretty Humble, where we take young girls and introduce them to financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and leadership development. That's how that program was born. To date, we do a conference every year along with a monthly workshop. And we do it at Hollins. To date, we've exposed like 507 girls to entrepreneurship, leadership development, and financial literacy opportunities. So that's a huge program as well. My next program is called Keep Giving Initiatives, and that's a simple thing that how the nonprofit was started with the coat drive. We do a back to school drive every year and a coat drive every year. With the coat drive, we really focus on brand new coats for a school. Every year we pick a school, or our board picks a school, and we go to that school and we connect with them and see what their need is. And then we provide any kid that signs up in that school, we provide them a brand new coat, usually around November. So that's what we're about to do now. To date, we've done over like 1,700 coats for about 6 schools. So that's a pretty big program as well. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Reggae Fest, but that is ours as well. Unfortunately, it got canceled, so that's one of our biggest fundraisers. And so I say all of this to say that we're moving and shaking. I'm super busy, but I'm super blessed and super honored, not only to be here with you to share that mission, but also just to invite you to take part of our journey as well. If you see a way that you can be a help or any type of a help or any part of it in any capacity, please let us know. The door is extremely open. I'll welcome you. If you want to come work with these kids, I will take the back seat. But again, I just appreciate you all for having me. I don't have many words. I'm not a preacher, so I don't know how to get into that, but I did want to share that mission and just kind of share my heart and give you a little bit of background about myself. I won't go too far because we'll go too deep. But thank you again for having me on this Sunday morning.
Little time. Would anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Xavier here before we proceed with service? Okay.
Say that one more time. Good question. So since 2017, that's when we got started with the program. It used to be just hiking, and so that's why we called it Humble Hikes. As we started to get more volunteers and more committed volunteers, our volunteers would be like, hey, X, we should go mountain bike riding, or hey, X, we should go fishing, or hey, we should go caving, which our insurance does not cover. But so I say that to say, like, we've done, I mean, everything. It's really outdoor education and environmental science. So that's where we work with Dr. Carpentry to get really into the nature side and the science side of wildlife and things like that. We've done archery, we've done hiking, we've done paddle boarding. We've done um, horseback riding. Yes, we've done horseback riding. We've done, I mean, just about anything you can think of except for caving. We're not doing it. Or I'm not doing it. But we've done just about everything under the sun. We really do push the limit because of the fact that um, I was the kid that I was always outside, but some of those opportunities I never knew existed. I never knew that you could go to Carvin's Cove and rent a kayak and be on the water. That's just things that in my neighborhood you just didn't see. You just knew outside. So I always tell people that it's not like a reintroduction for our kids to the outdoors. It's just like a reconnection, because it's not that we haven't been outdoors. It's not that the minority, groups haven't been outdoors. It's just that we haven't been afforded some of the access. Absolutely, yeah, for sure. If I,
Oh, can you hear me? I
Mhm.
was just saying, if you have a website, and also I've seen your merchandise
Yes,
in
ma'am.
the local businesses.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. I brought in like 100 of those brochures right beside. Yep. I don't know your name, but Sally. So there are like 100 brochures right there with Sally. I'm not gonna tell her to pass them out, but if somebody wanted to pass them out, all of that information is on that sheet. Yeah, the clothing. Absolutely, absolutely. So during my journey, in around 2015, once I had started the nonprofit, um, it was actually during Nathan's with Village Grill, his reggae fest that he used to do in the parking lot, and we were the beneficiary of that, and we were selling t-shirts, and the t-shirts like went wild, and I was like, well, this was a good fundraiser. And at that time I had quit my job. I was working at UPS at nights. I was doing photography on the side. I was like Airbnb my house out. So super uncomfortable, but I realized that I like fashion and I love wearing clothes and I love the expressiveness of it. And so what I did is I created another business, which is Humble Hustle Clothing, and that until as a for-profit allowed me to sell as many clothes as I wanted to, and donate the money back to the nonprofit for a sustainability method. To date, every year we donate about $5,000 back to the nonprofit from my personal clothing line. So it's definitely been working, and people wear the clothes and they like the idea of some people don't like to donate, right? And some people don't want to just send a monetary donation, but they're like, hey, if I can buy a shirt, and then I know that goes right back into the program just as much. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
Yeah, that's a great question. I was on boards for a while. I was on the economic development board. And to anybody that didn't hear his question, he said that how am I connecting to city leaders and the higher up, I would say, people that are making the decisions. Um, that's a really good question. I do my best, but I also try my best to also just like to be with the people, and I try to stay. What we would say is like in the trenches with the common people, so that it doesn't become. Um, there's a distrust with the city, and sometimes, and with the people that are making decisions, and with the common people of community. So it's a fine line that you play, of asking for stuff or getting in those rooms, but also making sure that the community still sees you in the most transparent way. So I've done my best. I was on boards. I was on the economic development board. I was on um, different boards, but it wasn't me. And I started to see that I was just the token black guy sometimes, of like, hey, we just need to check this box and get him in here. His name is doing well in the city. Let's get him on here so we can represent in the best way. So I don't have a direct answer to that. I mean, we have staff that are constantly pushing the marketing to the higher ups, and grants, and um, proposals and things like that when we need certain things. But I'm hoping that our work is as authentic and intentional as possible, that it makes it to where they have to come see us, if that makes sense. Any more questions? Yes. We are. So we were at Villa Heights when it first got renovated. Right now it's just office space. Actually, we just use it for storage. We've acquired so much stuff at this point with the festival and the outdoor things that we do. It's just storage for us. Where we operate mostly is on 11th Street at the Collective. That's where our main operations are. That's where everything is. We use Villa Heights for storage. Yeah. I don't know. Anybody else? I do. We take the kids up there probably once a year. Um, I know we did not this year. We have not this year, but last year we did, and the year before we did. One of my good friends, Jordan Bell, is now the program director for Apple Ridge. So I definitely think there's some collaborations to be had. I think this year was a very transitional year with just new staff coming in and just trying to create structure, which is it's a great thing, but it also requires a lot of attention as well. So we still did a lot of programming, but we took on a lot of new adventures as well, instead of going back to the. We did. We did. Unfortunately, we did have to cancel. I wanted to push it in October, but I also didn't want to drown. I didn't want to not deviate, but I didn't want to overcrowd anything that GoFest was doing, because we're a major part of that. And so we wanted to put our marketing efforts into GoFest. And I didn't want to push my team over the capacity that we had to try to pull off something in October. And I don't really feel like a reggae fest is good in November. So we pushed for June 1st is the new date. Yes, absolutely.
You work with specific groups of children. I'm thinking maybe children of the incarcerated.
We have not. I have a couple kids, transparently speaking. I have a couple kids that have gotten locked up, whether it's Corner Spring or whether they've turned 18 and they're in Roanoke City, um, that I communicate with and I advocate for. But when I started Humble Hustle, the vision was extremely wide, and it was like, I'm gonna work with all the kids in the world, and we're gonna have Noah's Ark for this thing. And it really got back into like a one-man sailboat, so that we can be super super intentional and effective. So to answer your question, inner city is like the main groups that we're working with. We don't turn any kid down. Our priority is young Black kids that are in the inner city that don't have those opportunities. But there are white kids, there are Asian kids, there are Hispanic kids that are in those same environments that we would never turn down. So I think off of the vision, it was like, hey, look, these young Black kids don't have these opportunities. But like I said, there's so many different ethnicities in these same environments that we make sure that we hit to. Thank you.
Xavier, did you design your clothes?
I didn't design these, but I like these. So I didn't wear my stuff today. I'm very much a person of feel. So when I wake up, however I feel is what I'm usually wearing. So sometimes it could be 15 different colors, and sometimes it could be one. But I didn't get to design this. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, everybody's welcome. We've never discriminated on any race, ethnicity, gender, or orientation. We've had, a multitude of backgrounds that have come into our programming. Again, we've never we've never addressed it in a formal way. I can't say we've ever addressed it in a formal way, but it's definitely something that our program director is on the board of RDC. So it's very much brought to my attention when certain words or certain forms need to be changed to make sure that it is inclusive of all. Yes, ma'am. Whew. Most of everybody on our team is contractors. So I would say I say team because it's not really staff. But we have a program director. We have an assistant who she was our director of operations, but she just took on her career in nursing, so she had to dial back the hours a little bit. And then we have a lot of volunteers. Our volunteer committee has been with us literally since 2016, 17. So we have different committees of volunteers per each program. No, it is. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. With the clothing, I have a brand manager, and she kind of runs the whole entire clothing line. And then on top of me, somebody that kind of tells me what to do. We have I call her my accounts executive, and she kind of operates everything for me. Kind of makes me a puppet. Any more? Yes. Good question. Yeah. So, as I said, my vision is pretty far and wide. So, in 2018, I started another business called Imagine Me Mentoring. And so, I was fortunate to gain a contract with Roanoke City Schools. Well, it was honestly with Dr. Crummy at Highland Park, and that's my background. I graduated with a human services degree, minor in sociology. When I was getting my master's before I flunked out, it was in social work. And so my background is working with kids. I know what I'm doing. I love working with kids. That is what I will do for probably the rest of my life, is work with kids in some capacity. And so I did therapeutic day treatment in the schools. I'm just giving you the background so it all makes sense. Yeah, when I first moved home, I was doing therapeutic day treatment in all of the schools. I did not like the way that they were diagnosing kids in the schools. And so that's what kind of shifted of like, hey, this is another hole that I could fill probably with my own creativity and really allowing us to work with kids the way that we know that they need to be worked with. Some things don't take a diagnosis. It just takes attention and love. So that's what we started to do. And so that is our main way of bringing in the kids with our extracurricular or weekend programming is I work in the schools. So I work in about 5 schools. So every day I'm seeing kids. So it's easy to be able to overlap those programs and say, hey, I see you on Monday. This weekend, we're going horseback riding. Do you want to go? And then also we put it on Facebook. Facebook has been a major source of input for us for kids. We put it out there and parents see it, and then they just log into those forums and bring the kids. Most of them want to get rid of them on the weekends anyway. So. Anything else? I feel like we're rolling right now. Yes, ma'am. So it's usually fourth in the schools. It's 4th to 11th. For outdoor programming, it's usually the same 4th to 11th. We usually, our biggest group of kids is between that 4th and 7th grade. 8th graders, I don't know what's up with them. They just feel like they're too cool. And then we get a couple high schoolers whose parents are, again, intentional on like, hey, he wants to work, with animals, or he wants to, he wants to do something in the outdoors or something with wildlife, and they stay with us. And then a lot of our high school kids now have been with us since they were in 4th grade. So they've just been with us the entire time. But the bulk of kids is that 4th through like 7th grade. Yeah.
So we have a program from us at the church
Oh.
coming up. Can you give us a little preview what we might expect and what we want for your program?
You want to say that one more time?
Give us an idea of what we can expect in our performances.
I was like, what am I doing? You scared me. I'm sorry. I was like, wait, I'm not prepared for that one.
He's talking about mission moves.
Mish moves. Okay. So she's doing a performance. Okay, I can tell you. I mean, that's one of my friends. She has it's a dance company. I think it's a nonprofit as well. And she brings in young girls, and does a variety of different types of dance. So I'm pretty sure you can expect dance. I think so. Yes, ma'am. That's a good question. So when we first did the Humble Hikes program, we were pulling from kids from TAP. So TAP had a program called Yale Youth Adult Life Enhancement Program. Yep, called Yale, and they were like forced to do some type of like uh, mind challenge, and we would go in and we would work with them, and then we started to call into the community, and it has shifted a little bit more towards we do get a lot of boys. I think naturally because our staff is male heavy, but you know our program director, our assistant, all of them are women, and then a lot of our volunteers are women as well. Um, but we do get a diverse group depending on the activity. If it's hiking, the young women don't show up. If it's paddle boarding or something like that, we can get up to like 15, 20 people sign up. If it's fishing, all the little boys are like, I gotta be there. So it just depends on what it is. We did an activity up at Tech. We took the kids up to Tech, and you probably could split it half and half. So it just depends on what the activity is and how we're actually marketing it. We're trying to get better at that. Okay. Okay.
Let's give Xavier a
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Let's do it. Okay. Okay. Do you want to say? Yes.
Okay. I guess I'm back again. I wanted to just just say thank you again, but then let you all know that we are having our coat drive. It's going on right now. It's for Round Hill Elementary. Like I said, usually every school we get about 200 to 250 requests. Round Hill is constantly sending in papers, and we're at like 350 right now. So we could use any help that you want, and that's simply just buying or using this paper and like shopping on Amazon, and sending in a coat for a young boy or a young girl. And so I just wanted to throw that back in there before I close. But thank you all very much.
Well, just like the work of Humble Hustle, the missions and community work of our church and our congregation involve many of you that are present today. Your gifts in today's offering will further that work.
In the midst of pain, I choose hope. choose love. In the midst of war, I choose peace. In the midst of war, I choose peace. In the midst of war, hate and anger keep explored. I will seek the good once more. I choose peace. I choose peace. When my world falls down, I will rise. When my world falls down, I will rise. When my world falls down, as the nations stand bound, I will climb to holy ground. I will rise. I will rise. In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, sorrow falling down like rain, I await the sun again. I choose love. I choose love.
Thank you for your presence and the gifts today and for the love that we share as Unitarian Universalists.
Good morning. My name is Sally Garber. It's my pleasure to represent the Caring Committee this morning. If you have a joy or concern, please make the effort to let either a member of the Caring Committee know or call the office here so that we can share your joy or concern during the Sunday service. This morning, I just have one joy, and I think it was a major concern, but it now is a joy, I guess I should say. Beth Griffin had COVID, but she's now recovering very well. So please keep her in your thoughts as you go through your week. Now's the time in our service that you can come forward to light a candle if you have a silent joy or concern that you hold in your heart. As you come forward, please use both sides of the altar. Thank you.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, Speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul.
May our prayers be heard and our hearts be restored.
And I am a very lucky worship associate today. I don't have any announcements to share, but 3 people are going to get up and share some information with us. And I also want to take a moment to express appreciation to Carol Rowan. I've been going through a very hectic time, and she helped me put this service together today. So I owe her big time. Okay. Okay.
Good morning. I'm Leah Whitney, and I'm here to represent the Shared Ministry Committee, along with Martha Boswell, would you stand, or, yeah, and Hilda Getz. Those of you who have been at UUCR for many years, this committee is probably familiar to you. For those of you who have just started attending more recently, we would like to introduce ourselves to you. The Shared Ministry Committee is really all about you, the congregation. We are here to take the pulse of the church and see how UUCR is working for you. We'll have a short anonymous survey that you found today inside your order of service, and we encourage you to please fill this out for us. If you're not comfortable doing it with paper and pencil, there's an online link for a survey as well. The results will be shared with the board and with you, the congregation. We will be trying to find out from you how UUCR is filling your needs and what improvements you might like to see in the future. Today, October 15th and October 22nd, one of the committee members will be in the fellowship hall during coffee hour, and we can answer any of your questions. We would love to listen to your thoughts and your concerns of the church as well during those times. And we will be collecting surveys, so if you were kind enough to fill it out today, please bring it back to the table during coffee hour. We'd appreciate that. We really look forward to hearing from you, and your thoughts and suggestions are totally welcome. Let's work together and make this place the best it can be. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cindy Lawler. I'm a member of the UUCR Pride Committee, and I'm just making a personal pitch for an event that's happening next Sunday, immediately after the regular service. Please plan to attend the forum. It goes from 12:30 till 2:30. The topic is anti-LGBTQIA+ activities in Virginia schools, with a focus on Roanoke County. If you didn't know, Roanoke County is one of the few counties in Virginia to have adopted without change Governor Youngkin's recent anti-trans educational policy. We have panelists from ACLU Virginia, the Roanoke City Council, a local parent, and a former teacher. So that'll be the first hour. The second hour is going to be an open forum for your questions and comments. There's going to be a limited number of free lunches, box lunches, so be sure to be the first to get one and then to stay. Please don't take a lunch and run. This event is the last of the activities that the church was required to do in order to renew our status with the Unitarian Universalist Association as a welcoming congregation. The Welcoming Congregation program is for congregations that want to take intentional steps to be more welcoming and inclusive of all people, of all sexual orientations or gender identities. We've fulfilled the other requirements earlier in the year, including several regular services devoted to topics of special concern to the queer community, summaries of notable observance days that we've put into the emailed newsletters that you've received and hopefully read, and a community outreach effort such as the booth that we staffed recently at the Southwest Virginia Pride Festival. And we handed out material about UCR. So we appreciate your support and we look forward to seeing you next Sunday.
Thank you so much for today. That was wow. And I'm in charge of, or I'm organizing the Mish event. So I can put you down for a couple of performances, a couple of pieces. Yeah? You gotta be careful around here when you volunteer, right? Good morning. I'm Sarah Divers. I'm from the auction committee, and we're so excited about our live auction this year, November the 11th. It starts at 3:30. We're asking people to bring a savory or a sweet finger food, and we have phenomenal items for the auction. We also don't want you to forget that there's a silent auction. It begins on Monday after our live auction. Some people can't make the live event, and some people aren't crazy about, big events. So please check that out as well. But what I'm really here about today is the raffle. We have two awesome raffles this year. The 50-50, you know what that is. Everything that's brought in, it's split. You get 50 if you win, 50%, and the church gets 50%. And the other is our new raffle. It's called Lucky You. Oh, this is, I guess I can enter it too if somebody else draws. But there's going to be 7 winners. The first 5, hats off to the board, you get a free ticket to the board Italian extravaganza event. Woohoo! Dinner, games, music. It's free. 5 free tickets. They're going to be, they're going to be pricey at the auction, but you'll get 5. Or no, you'll get 1. 5 people will get 1. Let me not go overboard here. And then the 6th drawing will be for $50 credit on the auction. So if you come to the auction or you bid in the silent auction or both, if your total bill happens to be $70, you only pay $20 because you have $50 credit. And then the last drawing, the real lucky you, or they're all lucky really, is $100 credit in the auction. So just think of what you can get from the auction. And if your bill is $120, you only pay $20. So these raffles are awesome. And of course, everything that we earn from the auction goes to support our mission here at the UU. So thank you for your support. I will be selling raffle tickets in the fellowship. It's 1 for $1 or 7 for $5. So I know you're feeling lucky. Come see me after the service. And I'll let Mishnu know that, you're willing to put in a few pieces too. Thank you.
Sarah, we want him to come back. Okay. And again, thank you, Xavier, for sharing your mission and your passion. And please keep their winter coat drive in mind. And then, of course, Sarah is waiting to take your money for the raffle. Yeah. But as we go forth into our week, let us continue with this spirit of gratitude and love that we've been blessed to share today.
Circle wide, and we're going to stand, and this is very nice when we do this. Move to fill in the outer ring if you can. This is my favorite part of choir is watching people move. Yeah, damn, this is a great tradition.
Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone. We'll stand side by side. Draw the circle. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Behold how good, behold how wonderful, behold how